What if I told you that the most powerful women in the world are not powerful because of luck, talent, or perfect circumstances? They are powerful because of what they do every single day when nobody is watching. Strength is not built in one big moment. Confidence is not created overnight. Success is not an accident. The women who inspire the world have something in common: small daily habits that quietly shape the way they think, act, and lead. The truth is, power is never given. It is built. And today, we are going to uncover the daily habits that transform ordinary women into unstoppable forces of confidence, leadership, and success. One of the greatest differences between ordinary people and truly powerful women is not intelligence, money, beauty, or even opportunity. The real difference begins with something much deeper, something invisible that shapes every decision they make, and that is purpose. Every woman who builds a life of confidence, influence, and success understands one important truth. If you wake up every morning without a reason that drives you forward, the world will decide your direction for you. And when the world controls your direction, you slowly begin living a life that belongs to everyone else instead of the life you were meant to create. Think about how most people begin their day. The alarm goes off, they immediately check their phone, they scroll through social media, they compare themselves to strangers, they react to messages, responsibilities, stress, and expectations. Before the day has even truly begun, their energy is already being controlled by outside forces. They are not leading their own life. They are simply reacting to life. But powerful women understand something different. They know the first moments of every day determine the emotional direction of everything that follows. When a woman begins her day connected to purpose, something extraordinary happens. She no longer wakes up asking herself what life wants from her. Instead, she begins asking herself what she wants from life. That shift changes everything. Purpose gives meaning to effort. It gives strength during difficult moments. It creates clarity when the world becomes chaotic. It becomes the invisible force that pushes someone forward even when motivation disappears. The strongest women in the world do not wake up every morning feeling inspired. That is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about success. People assume confident women somehow feel powerful all the time. The truth is very different. They have bad days. They experience fear. They face uncertainty. They struggle with self-doubt just like everyone else. But what separates them is that their purpose becomes stronger than temporary emotions. Even when they feel tired, purpose keeps them moving. Even when they feel discouraged, purpose reminds them why they started. Purpose does not need to be something grand or world-changing. It can be deeply personal. It can be the desire to build a better future for your family. It can be proving to yourself that you are capable of more than the world expects from you. It can be becoming financially independent. It can be creating a life where you never again depend on someone else for your happiness. The power is not found in how big the purpose looks to other people. The power comes from having a reason that means something deeply to you. The moment a woman becomes clear about why she is waking up every day, her habits begin to change automatically. She becomes more focused because distractions lose their power. She becomes more disciplined because excuses become harder to justify. She becomes more confident because every action begins aligning with something meaningful. And over time, she transforms. Not because life became easier, but because purpose gave her direction strong enough to survive every obstacle standing in her way. And that is where true power begins. Not with talent, not with external validation, not with waiting for the perfect opportunity. Real power begins the moment you wake up every day knowing exactly why your life matters and exactly what future you are building for yourself. One of the biggest lies people believe about success is the idea that motivation is enough. People wait for the perfect feeling before they begin. They tell themselves that when they feel inspired, when they feel confident, when they feel ready, then they will finally take action. But the truth is, motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like emotion. Some days you feel unstoppable, and other days you feel exhausted, uncertain, and discouraged. If your entire future depends on motivation, then your progress will always depend on feelings, and feelings are never consistent. The women who become truly powerful understand something most people never learn. Success is not built on motivation. Success is built on discipline. Discipline is what separates dreams from reality. It is the ability to continue moving forward even when every part of you wants to stop. It is choosing action over excuses. It is showing up for yourself on the days when nobody is watching and when there is no immediate reward waiting for you. The strongest women in the world do not achieve success because they always feel motivated. They achieve success because they train themselves to act regardless of how they feel in the game. Name it. Think about how easy it is to make promises when emotions are high. People make big decisions when they feel inspired. They promise themselves they will start exercising, build a business, improve their confidence, change their habits, or create a better future. But after a few difficult days, the excitement disappears. Suddenly the work feels hard. Suddenly the energy is gone. And many people stop because they were relying on motivation instead of building discipline. Powerful women understand that temporary emotions should never control permanent goals. Discipline is not something people are born with. It is built through repetition. Every small promise you keep to yourself strengthens discipline. Every time you wake up early when you wanted to stay in bed, discipline grows stronger. Every time you continue working while others are distracted, discipline grows stronger. Every time you choose long-term success instead of short-term comfort, you are quietly transforming your identity. Over time, discipline stops feeling like effort because it becomes part of who you are. The world often celebrates visible success, but very few people talk about the invisible habits that create it. Nobody sees the early mornings. Nobody sees the sacrifices. Nobody sees the lonely moments when someone continues working while everyone else is resting. Yet this is exactly where powerful women are created. Behind every confident woman people admire is a long history of private discipline that nobody applauded while it was happening. And here is something important most people ignore. Discipline creates self-respect. Every time you break promises to yourself, you weaken trust in your own ability. But every time you follow through, even on something small, you prove to yourself that your word matters. That changes the way you see yourself. Confidence does not magically appear one day. Confidence is built when you repeatedly show yourself that you are capable of doing difficult things consistently. The truth is, life will never wait until you feel ready. There will always be difficult days. There will always be fear, uncertainty, setbacks, and moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. But powerful women make one decision that changes everything. They stop asking themselves whether they feel motivated, and they start asking themselves whether they are committed. Because in the end, motivation may start the journey, but discipline is what carries you through every challenge. And the moment a woman learns to master discipline, she becomes dangerous in the best possible way. Because now nothing can stop her except the limits she chooses to accept. One of the most overlooked truths about success is this. Before you can control your future, you must first learn to control what enters your mind. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every decision you make is shaped by the information, people, conversations, and environments you allow into your daily life. The most powerful women understand something that many people ignore. Your mind is the foundation of everything you become. And if you do not protect that foundation, the outside world will slowly begin shaping your identity without your permission. Most people underestimate how deeply their surroundings affect their growth. They spend hours consuming negative content, listening to criticism, staying around toxic relationships, comparing themselves endlessly on social media, and surrounding themselves with people who constantly complain about life. Over time, this negativity begins influencing how they think about themselves. Slowly, confidence disappears. Self-doubt grows stronger. Fear becomes normal. And without realizing it, they begin living according to beliefs that were never truly their own. They become trapped by thoughts created by the world around them instead of thoughts created by their own potential. Powerful women understand that protecting the mind is not optional. It is a daily responsibility. They know that what they consume mentally is just as important as what they consume physically. Imagine eating unhealthy food every single day for years. Eventually, the body weakens. The same principle applies to the mind. If every day you feed your mind negativity, insecurity, fear, gossip, criticism, and distraction, eventually your mental strength begins collapsing. And when the mind becomes weak, every challenge in life begins feeling impossible. This is why women who rise above ordinary limitations become extremely selective about their and so they pay attention to the conversations they participate in. They pay attention to the voices they listen to repeatedly. They understand that not every opinion deserves space inside their mind. Some people will constantly project their own fears onto you. Some people will doubt your potential simply because they never had the courage to chase their firm dreams. Some environments will slowly convince you to settle for less than you deserve. But powerful women learn one important lesson. Protecting your peace is sometimes more fun than proving yourself to everyone around you. But the strongest women are intentional about what they feed their mind every day. They choose books that challenge their thinking. They listen to ideas that expand their perspective. They learn from people who inspire growth instead of encouraging limitation. They spend less time comparing themselves and more time building themselves. They understand that growth requires mental discipline just as much as physical discipline. There is another reason this habit is so powerful. Your thoughts eventually become your identity. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity, you begin believing negative things about your own future. But when you consistently feed your mind with strength, possibility, confidence, and knowledge, something incredible begins happening. Your internal voice starts changing. You begin seeing opportunities where others see problems. You begin trusting yourself more. You begin carrying yourself differently, because the way you think about your own potential begins transforming. The truth is, powerful women are not simply stronger than everyone else. They are more protective of what shapes their mind. They understand that the world is constantly trying to influence how they see themselves. And if they are not careful, they will unknowingly surrender control over their future. Real power begins the moment you realize that not everything deserves access to your energy. The people you listen to, the words you repeat to yourself, the content you consume, and the environment you tolerate are quietly building the person you are becoming. And the moment a woman learns to guard her mind with intention, she begins building a life that no negativity can easily destroy. One of the defining characteristics of truly powerful women is that they never allow themselves to become comfortable with who they were yesterday. They understand a truth that many people resist accepting. Growth is not something that happens automatically with time. Just because days pass does not mean progress is being made. Just because someone becomes older does not mean they are becoming wiser, stronger, or more capable. Growth is a decision. It is a commitment made every single day to become better than the version of yourself that existed before. And the women who create extraordinary lives understand that self-improvement is not an occasional activity. It is a permanent lifestyle. Many people spend years waiting for life to change while never realizing that life only changes when the person living it changes first. They hope circumstances improve. They wait for opportunities to appear. They imagine success arriving at the perfect moment. But powerful women think differently. They do not wait for transformation to happen externally because they understand that real transformation begins internally. Every single day becomes an opportunity to learn, improve, and develop new strengths that prepare them for bigger opportunities in the future. The reason this habit matters so deeply is because the world is constantly evolving. Industries change, technology changes, opportunities change, challenges change. The person who refuses to grow eventually becomes left behind by a world that never stops moving forward. Powerful women recognize this reality early. They understand that staying still is often the fastest path toward becoming irrelevant. This is why they constantly invest in their own development, knowing that every new skill learned today creates freedom tomorrow. Growth does not always mean achieving something massive. Sometimes growth is invisible to everyone except yourself. It may be learning how to communicate with more confidence. It may be improving emotional intelligence so you stop allowing temporary emotions to control important decisions. It may be learning financial discipline so you can build independence. It may be developing stronger habits that improve focus and productivity. It may be reading books that expand your understanding of the world. The important thing is not how dramatic the progress looks from the outside. The important thing is maintaining forward movement. Powerful women understand that learning should never stop after school, after university, or after achieving success. In fact, some of the most dangerous moments in life begin when people believe they already know enough. The moment someone stops learning, they slowly begin limiting their own future. Curiosity disappears. Adaptability weakens. Confidence becomes fragile because it is built on outdated knowledge instead of continuous development. The strongest women avoid this trap by remaining lifelong students, constantly seeking knowledge that strengthens both their mindset and their abilities. There is also something incredibly powerful about daily growth that most people overlook. Growth builds confidence in ways external validation never can. When a woman sees herself becoming more capable over time, her belief in herself deepens naturally. She no longer depends entirely on praise from others because she can physically see evidence of her own progress. Every lesson learned becomes proof that she is evolving. Every challenge overcome becomes proof that she is stronger than she once believed. That internal confidence becomes unshakable because it was earned through personal development, not temporary approval. The reality is simple. The women who become extraordinary are not always the most talented, the most connected, or the luckiest. More often, they are simply the women who refuse to stop growing. They understand that success is never a final destination. Becoming powerful is not about reaching one perfect version of yourself and staying there forever. It is about constantly expanding your potential. The moment a woman commits herself to learning, improving, and evolving every single day, she becomes unstoppable because she is no longer depending on the world to create opportunities for her. She is becoming the kind of person capable of creating those opportunities herself. And that is where true power begins. One of the most powerful transformations a woman can experience in life begins the moment she understands that self-respect is not something the world gives to her. It is something she builds within herself. Too many people spend years chasing approval, trying to make everyone happy, saying yes when they want to say no, tolerating disrespect because they fear rejection, and sacrificing their own peace simply to avoid disappointing others. But powerful women eventually learn a truth that changes everything. The moment you stop respecting your own boundaries, you silently teach the world how little value you place on yourself. Many people confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. They believe being a good person means constantly putting everyone else first, even when it damages their own emotional well-being. They believe love means tolerating behavior that hurts them. They believe success means pleasing everyone around them. But over time, this way of living creates exhaustion. It creates resentment. It creates emotional emptiness because when someone continuously gives away their time, energy, attention, and peace without protecting themselves, eventually there is nothing left inside to sustain personal growth. The strongest women understand that protecting their energy is not selfish. It is necessary. They recognize that every day they are making decisions about where their emotional energy goes. Every conversation, every relationship, every commitment, every environment either strengthens their peace or slowly drains it away. The problem is that many people allow others unlimited access to their emotional space without realizing the damage being done over time. They tolerate toxic friendships. They remain in relationships where respect has disappeared. They allow constant criticism to define how they feel about themselves. And little by little, their confidence begins weakening because they are allowing external negativity to consume the very energy needed to build their future. Powerful women learn to create boundaries because boundaries are a direct reflection of confirmation. Saying no does not mean becoming cold or uncaring. It means understanding that your time has value. Your peace has value. Your emotional well-being has value. And if you continuously allow people to violate those things without consequence, you begin sending yourself a dangerous message that your own needs matter less than everyone else's expectations. One of the hardest lessons many women learn is that not everyone deserves unlimited access to their life. Some people only appear when they need something. Some people consistently take more than they give. Some people repeatedly bring negativity, drama, insecurity, and emotional chaos into every interaction. Yet many continue keeping these people close simply because they fear being seen as selfish or difficult. But powerful women understand that protecting peace often requires making difficult times. What if I choices? Sometimes growth requires distance from people who no longer align with the future you are building. There is something extraordinary that happens when a woman begins respecting herself deeply. Her standards begin rising. She becomes less willing to accept disrespect. She stops lowering herself simply to fit into environments that do not appreciate her value. She becomes more selective with relationships, opportunities, and commitments because she understands that protecting herself is part of building the life she deserves. Confidence begins growing naturally because she is no longer allowing others to constantly define her worth. The truth is, self-respect changes the way the entire world responds to you. People notice when you carry yourself with standards. People notice when your decisions are guided by confidence instead of desperation for tens. But more importantly, you begin seeing yourself differently. You stop asking the world for permission to value yourself. Real power begins when a woman realizes she was never meant to spend her life proving her worth to everyone around her. True power begins the moment she decides that her peace, her time, her standards, and her emotional well-being are valuable enough to protect without apology. And from that moment forward, the world begins responding to the standards she has chosen for herself. One of the greatest reasons people never reach their full potential is because they have trained themselves to think only about what is happening right now. They want immediate results, immediate recognition, immediate success, and immediate proof that their efforts are working. The modern world has created a dangerous habit of expecting everything instantly. People want transformation in days, success in weeks, and rewards before the process has even had time to work. But the most powerful women understand something that separates extraordinary individuals from ordinary ones. True success is never built through short-term thinking. Real greatness belongs to those who learn how to think far beyond the present moment. Most people quit not because they lack ability, but because they become discouraged when progress feels slow. They begin working toward a goal, and when they do not immediately see visible change, doubt begins entering their mind. They question whether the effort is worth it. They compare their progress to others. They become frustrated by how long the journey feels. Eventually, many stop completely because they expected success to arrive faster than reality allows. Powerful women see this process differently. They understand that anything truly valuable takes time, and they refuse to judge their future based on temporary results. Think about the strongest structures ever built. The tallest buildings in the world are never constructed overnight. Before anything impressive becomes visible, an enormous amount of work happens underground where nobody can see it. Foundations are carefully built first, because without strong foundations, the structure cannot survive future pressure. Human growth works the exact same way. Before confidence becomes visible, discipline must be built privately. Before leadership becomes visible, emotional strength must develop internally. Before success becomes visible, countless unseen habits must quietly shape identity behind the scenes. Powerful women understand the importance of patience because they know short-term discomfort often creates long-term freedom. They are willing to sacrifice temporary pleasure today for a future that gives them independence tomorrow. While others chase immediate comfort, they remain focused on the bigger picture. They understand that saying yes to every distraction may feel good now, but it often steals opportunities from the future. Every decision becomes part of a much larger vision, and this mindset allows them to stay committed even when the journey feels difficult. There is another reason long-term thinking is so powerful. It protects people from emotional decision-making. When someone only focuses on the present moment, temporary setbacks feel catastrophic. A single failure begins feeling permanent. Criticism feels devastating. Delays feel unbearable. But when a woman learns to think years ahead instead of days ahead, setbacks lose much of their power. She understands that one difficult moment cannot define an entire future. She stops allowing temporary pain to convince her to abandon permanent goals. The strongest women understand that consistency matters far more than speed. The world often celebrates overnight success stories, but what people fail to notice is the years of invisible effort that happened long before success became visible. Behind every powerful woman people admire today exists a long history of persistence through uncertainty, setbacks, disappointment, and moments where quitting would have been far easier than continuing. And this is what truly separates powerful women from everyone else. They do not allow slow progress to destroy their commitment. They understand that becoming extraordinary is not about winning quickly. It is about refusing to stop building, even when success feels distant. They trust the process long enough for the process to begin transforming them. The truth is simple. A woman who learns to think long-term becomes nearly impossible to defeat because she no longer expects instant rewards. She understands that greatness is built slowly, through years of discipline, patience, sacrifice, and persistence. And the moment a woman stops chasing immediate results and begins committing herself fully to the future she truly wants, she becomes unstoppable because now she is no longer living for temporary comfort. She is building a legacy strong enough to outlast every obstacle standing in her path.